Hello and welcome to the ACG Mental Performance Podcast, where we explore the minds of athletes, coaches, and experts, diving into the stories behind their success, the mental skills that drive their performance. I'm your host, DJ McMoil. Today, I'm excited to be joined by NFL player Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles. Demetrius is a professional linebacker, currently playing for the New York Giants in the NFL. Straight out of Tucson, Arizona, currently living in New York or New Jersey. I don't really know, but Flan, what's
I'm
going on?
around here, around the line, around the line. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? I'm grateful to be here.
Great to have you, man. Great to have you. So, mostly what we do here is just kind of through your experience and through stories we want to share. Kind of how you got from point A to point B. Essentially, give people a chance to get to know you. But I think most of our listeners will be looking for, based on what ACG does, mentally, what are kind of your foundations in the game, and how have you reached the point where you're at. So hopefully we have maybe some aspiring NFL players or aspiring professional athletes listening in who can glean some stuff from this conversation. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll see, man. We'll see. So, it's kind of get into your story. I think is where I want to start. Not everyone always gets to hear the origin story of their favorite NFL player. So when you when you think from their favorite New York Giants NFL player.
Yeah, right,
uh,
right.
so when you think back on the journey that has been, um, you know, especially just kind of influences in your life, big moments growing up, like what early on you think, man, this really shaped how I approach competing today.
I just think the competitive aspect of just who I am as a person or player I am today came from when I was, growing up in Tucson and, playing with my cousins and my little brother and all that, just being able to just compete. We had a standard for ourselves when we were young, and that's kind of just continued to carry on as I got older, and it's kind of never really gotten away from me.
Tell me, I gotta get some insight into those games, man. Like you're talking about some like backyard football kind of stuff. What were
Not
you?
even that, like backyard football. It could be practice. It could be Pop Warner games. Like it was intense. Like it was some hard coaching, and it was looking back on it, it was actually kind of funny because it's just like, man, like because nowadays you don't really see a whole lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Like just stuff at like especially at that level. But it kind of molded us to be the people who we are today, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
You think that like when we were growing up, and I'm a little bit older than you, but when we were growing up, things were just a little bit more like there was almost a little bit more space for kids to just be competitive like that, to just kind of find
Yeah,
their competitive selves more so.
yeah, definitely, definitely. I think it was more. It was more of a thing back then for us to be in a competitive space than it is today. I completely agree, and I don't know why. I can't tell you sit here and act like I'm some guru and I can tell you why why it is today. But it just for some reason, like back then it was just a little bit more of a. It was a little bit more intense. It was a little bit more intense.
I almost think it's this, and I'm not a guru either, but I almost think it's like when, because I feel this as a parent now, like when a parent realizes that their kid is into something or like that they're good
Hmm.
at something or I don't know, they just like they're competitive about it. I
They go
think,
all in. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's all in. It's like the first thought is like, I got to sign him up for this league, this coach,
Hmm.
this next best thing. Whereas
Hmm.
like for you, for me, like that just used to flourish in at recess over the
Yeah.
summer. Like, yes, some organized stuff, but like I didn't need to be coached to be competitive.
No.
And I don't think kids do right now either. I just think the parents need them to be coached to feel
Yeah.
like they're competitive. So,
Right.
man, yeah, I think a lot of stories have to begin in that just kind of natural. Like, I wanted to kill my friend
Yeah.
before
There's just
my
a natural love for the game for sure.
100%. So, with
Hmm.
how old were you when you started playing football?
I was around 5. I was around 5 when I started playing a little flag football and, just running around, not really knowing what to do, just running around having fun. And I just knew back then because I would, when I would lose, I would cry my tail off. So I knew then that I was just like, man, like I really love the sport because, I really love to win. So therefore, I mean, I've gotten better now. I don't cry after every loss now, but
Just every
I
other
just
loss. Yeah.
that kind of say, that's kind of set the tone of, what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish even back then.
Were you playing other sports?
Yeah, I was playing basketball, I was running track, I played a little bit of baseball, even though I sucked. But yeah, I was doing a lot of different things trying to find my niche, but football just ended up being the one that sticks.
Phil, you must have been a weapon in track though.
No.
Really? What were they
No way.
having you run? 100 meters?
I was doing the 200, the 400. I'm not quick enough for the 100. The 100 is like the get off is everything. But
Yeah,
yeah, I was doing more of the longer sprints, I should say. And to be honest, I was average at that too. Like from the 400, that monkey would get on my back and I wouldn't know what to do. So I was
yeah.
just using that. I was just using that for football at that
For
point.
the
I was like,
400 is no joke though. I think if you want to make someone quit track, then you put them straight into the
oh,
400.
right in the 400. But somehow there's a difference between the 400 and the 4x4, which is crazy. But
I love
you
the
know,
4x4.
yeah, 4x4 is amazing.
You got energy to feed off of.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Who was, in terms of influences, a lot of people that we talk to, like dad coached a team or mom played the
Hmm.
sport, or who are some of the early influences, besides the fact that you just love the game? Was there
Yeah,
anyone, even a professional player, who were you looking to, who were you aspiring toward in football?
I think what kicked off my football career was kind of my Uncle Harold. My Uncle Harold kind of, pushed the envelope, not with just me, but with all of us, kind of putting us in that space to get out there and play ball. With that it came with some hard coaching, it came with some, hard workouts and this, that, and the third. But it was one of those things where he kind of push the envelope forward and kind of put us in that space to go out there and compete and be our best selves. So it started with him, and then just kind of went on from there. I mean, obviously, I would look at different athletes and whatnot. I grew up a Miami Dolphins fan, so you look at
Mm,
Ricky Williams and stuff like that. I kind of like how he played the game, obviously, but I wasn't going to play no running back because,
yeah,
like, no, like that's not me. But just stuff like that. There was also just a plethora of athletes that you could just think of that kind of, what I'm saying, push the envelope forward and push it forward. And then, during that time, watching college football and stuff like that. So it was it just started off with my Uncle Harold, and after that, like I just continued to just have football on my mind 24/7.
yeah. I never played an organized game of football, which is funny, but I don't know if anyone listening or watching the video podcast can see that I was never built for the sport quite the same. But I had a dream in my head at one point as a kid. I got really obsessed with Edgerrin James back when he was
Hmm.
tearing it up for Indianapolis.
Oh, so he's so nice.
I believed I was going to be a running back. In my soul, I believed it. Having never played football before, I was
Right.
like, I that's me. Like I'm gonna be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
because I was
yeah. It's
quick
just
and that was it.
right.
My parents never let me sign up though, so you never know. The NFL could have lost out on one of its greatest all-time
You're not lying.
talents
You're
just
not
because
lying.
I never played.
You're not lying. You got to get on him. You got to hit him up.
Yeah. I'm 32, man. Maybe it's not too late. How long do
It's
running
never
backs
too
usually
late.
play?
I don't know. It kind of depends on how you take care of your body.
You
I
just
mean,
didn't want to give me the bad news. You didn't want to give me
man.
the bad news. It's over.
I mean, this is.
So not everyone listening probably knows your story, but I do think it's worth sharing. So we kind of get into the early origins, but then I think a 10,000 foot overview of some of the hurdles that you faced and the things that you've overcome and how it's turned you into the man that you are today. I think that's where we go next. Just kind of give me that high level view before we dig into some of the specific moments. I think people would love to hear that story.
Yeah, man. So, I wouldn't first and foremost, I wouldn't come on here and puff my chest out and say I was the greatest athlete to ever come out of Tucson, Arizona, because that's not it. I had a lot of homeboys and friends and teammates that had a lot of talent. But it started in high school. I was a corner in high school, corner and receiver. I played cornerback and at Tucson High for a little bit before transferring to Mountain View. And I was solid. I really, what I'm saying, I could hold my own, but I wasn't like this glaring, like raw talent that you see on the news going crazy and all that. But I kind of picked my niche up like during the come up of 7-on-7 and stuff like that. I kind of be able to show my skill set, how I can cover and this, that, and the third, and do some things out there that kind of push the envelope for me recruiting wise. I was able to put on a good show, and then got offered by U of A. So crazy is that I got offered by U of A, and that was it. I wanted to commit right away because I was like, I'm at home. I mean, I wasn't a, I, Florida was my favorite team growing up, obviously during the Tim Tebow days, but it was something that was just so drawn to me for playing hometown, putting on blue and red, and playing in my own city that I was like, I want to commit, I want to go here, to the point where any other phone calls I was getting from any other colleges, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not even answering them because I'm about to commit. So committed to U of A, going into my senior year, I transferred to Mountain View, and then they deemed me and my little brother and my little cousin ineligible. So I didn't play my whole senior year. Yeah, so I didn't play my whole senior year of football. Um, so it just literally sat there and I watched football for a whole year. Didn't put on no pads, didn't do nothing. Like I was just sitting there watching ball. So it was hard, but I think it kind of saved me in a sense in terms of because now I could just focus on my grades, making sure that's straight, and resting my body, so I didn't have to really put my body in harm's way. Um, Luckily, I was able to go in that next year and at U of A and play my freshman year, play a little bit, play special teams, play, and then they moved me to safety, so now I play safety for my college career, and I was able to freshman year I was like a little freshman, I just running around like not really knowing what I'm doing, and then sophomore year I kind of from freshman year to sophomore year, that's when I kind of made my big jump, and I kind of put the onus on myself to kind of make myself college ready, what I'm saying, and get my body in shape and this that. And then sophomore year, I was able to make, a little bit more plays, put some more tape out there, and then it just kind of just kept going and kept going and kept going. And then we get to the senior year, and now, we go through the season. We didn't have a good season. We had a coaching change. We had a lot of stuff going on, but at the end of the day, we didn't have a good season at U of A, and I wouldn't say I had my best season that year either. But now we're going through the process of me going into the NFL, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know, like I'm new to this whole process. I don't know anything, so I'm going through the process, and I'm talking to different agents and this that, and the third, and we're getting ready to make that next step. And as I go through, I didn't get invited to the combine, but I got invited to the NFLPA game where I made a couple of plays, but I didn't do nothing that was so extravagant to be like, yeah, like this guy right here. But you know what I'm saying? I kind of stayed afloat. I just kept staying afloat. And then we get to pro day. I had a really good pro day, and a lot of scouts has talked to me there. But you don't know. And when it comes to the NFL draft, like you see all these projections and stuff like that. I promise you, like you never know what's being talked about in these front offices and whatnot because
No
you
doubt.
don't. Like you can have any mock draft you want, but I promise you that thing is never going to be 100% accurate. It's
Yeah.
not. It's never is. So going through that process, and then I'm talking to these different teams. I go on a visit to Indianapolis, and then I go on another visit to San Fran, and I don't know, something about San Fran just drawn me over there because when I came in there, they had a plan. They was like, we like you at safety, but we think you could play linebacker.
Mhm.
And to be
Man.
honest, I'm sitting there looking, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
what? But me, I'm so happy-go-lucky. I'm walking in an NFL facility. I'm like, yeah, I can play linebacker. Oh yeah, yeah, I can play linebacker for sure. And I'm just like but the back of my head, I'm like, what?
Yeah, like, can I
Like
play
what?
linebacker?
Like what? So we go. So I leave there. We go. We go through the whole draft. I go undrafted. And I'm getting a phone call for Jets, and they're talking about because now it goes into the priority free agents. So the people who didn't get drafted, now you get to kind of pick where you want to go. You can go to your best situation, which is kind of a blessing in disguise. So I
Yeah,
choose to
sure.
go. I choose to go to San Fran based off the simple fact that I was like, okay, at least they got a plan for me. It's not just like it's like we have a set plan for how we want for you to transition to the NFL, and I trusted it. So I went to the so I went to the San Francisco 49ers to play linebacker, and going through phase two workouts and OTAs, and I'm over there on the like 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and I can't even read run pass
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
Like it's run the other way, and I'm buzzing the other way. I'm just like, oh, this is different. Like this is totally different. But you know, I I just went through the whole process, and I just went back down to basics, and I got through it. I just learned, man, okay, how does it run pass go? Like how do you read that, and how do I get off a block of a lineman climbing up to him? Because I used to be in the post, so I was just like, I don't have to really deal with linemen, but now like I'm dealing with linemen like face to face, and I got to get 300 pounds off of
Yeah.
me. So like
Some big fellas. Yeah.
exactly, so I had to go through that. I just had to let go of everything I knew and just kind of really break it down from day one ball and kind of get myself to be in linebacker shape. And then we go through training camp. um, I didn't really play until the third preseason game, and I played safety in my third preseason game.
Mm.
It's crazy, and I got a pick, and then I ended up making the practice squad my first year, and then we were going through that whole year, and I'm using that year to kind of develop myself into being a linebacker. So I'm in the weight room every day. I'm just learning. I'm learning the scheme. I'm learning how they do things, and I'm really being intentional with my approach in terms of really following through with this process and this plan that they have for me. So I go through that. We end up going to Sarasota, Florida before we play the Saints in 2019, and I tear my Liz Frank.
Man.
So you would think like, yeah, you would think like, man, like now you're really progressing now, like now it's a setback. But to be honest, like looking back, it's the most blessing in disguise because I couldn't gain weight. I
Yeah.
couldn't gain weight. So now trying to play linebacker and trying to do all these things, but now I can't even gain weight. But now the way when I hurt my foot, it allowed my body to keep the weight that I was putting on rather than me going out there and doing all this running, and now I'm losing the weight that I'm trying to gain. So going through that rehab, it sucked. I'm not gonna lie to you, that whole 8 month rehab, and then finally, going to the next training camp, and then it was all she wrote from there. Like I was able to, hold my own at linebacker and really excel in special teams, and 6, 7 years later, now here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's an unbelievable story. And uh, I forget when. Who did you get your first NFL interception against?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
That's
Rodgers.
man, nah, it's not, but it's not even like that.
Listen,
It's not
listen,
even
listen.
I just happen to be in the area.
A pick is a pick, bud. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
you're not lying. Yeah, I just
And
happen to
again,
be in the area,
I'm in
man.
Minnesota, so it's worth calling
Yeah,
out
yeah,
Aaron
yeah, I
Rodgers
got you. I
interception at
got
any point. So,
you. I got you. I got you.
at what point in that journey? Because that's not that's not a Disney Channel like
No, no. No,
five
no.
star superstar college legend, all this kind of stuff. For it's not a Madden career mode story. That's they might try to make it one someday, but um, that's not exactly like point A to point B.
Right.
At what point in there? I mean, there's a lot of questions to dig into, but one of the first ones on my mind is like, at what point from sitting out your senior year, getting into the college scene, learning the game at that speed, and just kind of, I know you were taking it day by day, but at what point were you like, this ends in the NFL for me? Like I'm not stopping until I get to this level, or was it just like I'm
I
just
think
gonna
that
keep
my
going until someone tells me no?
I think that mindset was made up when I was 5 years old, breaking stuff in my mom's house, playing
Yeah,
tackle football with furniture like that. That my mind was made up that I wanted to play football. Mom wanted to, how moms are, and they want you to be a doctor or a software engineer, and I'll play the game like, yeah, I'll go to Raytheon and learn. But it was never like the way I went about my business and I went about my life was all about ball. Like I didn't really care for anything else. Like I would do it, and what I'm saying, I would, because I know I had to do it in order to do what I wanted to do. So that's what I would do. But like everything about the way I went about my life from then until now has been about ball. So that mindset was created when I was 5 years old, and it just never. There was ebbs and flows, but there's ebbs and flows to anybody's life when in terms of trying to get to where you get to. But at the end of the day, my mind was set like I'm playing in the NFL.
Yeah, that's how you decided you were going to pay back your mom for all that furniture. It was like,
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly.
um, I think that's important to say though, because I think a lot of people can read a story too quick, and it
Hmm.
can be like, yeah, well, he set his mind on being an NFL player. Now he is. I mean, there's only 1,500, 1,600 NFL players in the world
Yeah.
at any given
Hmm.
time, right? So it's
Hmm.
not. I mean, those are rare spots and opportunities. But
Definitely.
to be so single-minded and to set your sights on like this is what I'm going to do, and then to be able to tell the story and say that I did it. There's a lot to that, and you're a humble guy, so you underestimate it or you undersell it a little bit.
Hmm.
But I think there's so much in there for especially for the younger athletes listening, which
Hmm.
is like those ebbs and flows, like over time, those things smooth out and they become just a part of the story.
Hmm.
But in the moment, those are like huge forks in the road, right?
Hmm.
Like an ebb and a flow, when you're actually going through it, is the difference in success and failure, and it's the difference in being an NFL player versus being an accountant or
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like whatever else your life would have had for you. I don't know if you like math. I don't, but
No,
um,
I hate it.
yeah, so maybe not that. Um, but those are huge parts of the story.
Hmm.
And I think, part of what's interesting is like how I'm working with a youngish soccer player right now. He's a freshman in high school. He's in
Hmm.
a professional academy. He wants to go pro. He's very similar. It's all he thinks about. He's good. He might be good enough to get there. We'll
Hmm.
see. But over the last 3 years now that I've known him, I've seen him go through two big dips. One where he just wasn't doing what he needed to do to be at the level that he wanted to be at, and he
Hmm.
was 13, but it was on him. It's like,
Hmm.
this is your goal, this is what you say, and you're not doing it. So is it real for you?
Right.
And when he came out of that, he accelerated. He got
Hmm.
way better in a really short amount of time. And then a year ago, it kind of did the same thing. It wasn't that he wasn't putting the work in, but he just got in this huge mental dip. And when he pulled himself out of it, he accelerated and he took
Yeah.
steps forward. And now, for the third year in a row, we're kind of seeing him go through the same thing again at this next level. What were you don't have to say what the dips were or what caused them necessarily, but have you seen that pattern in yourself where you hit some conflict or you kind of hit a little barrier, and then as soon as you get on the other side of it, it gives you this energy to push in a different way, you kind of find that next level?
So I think I had, to be honest, I can give you three dips. There was one dip when I was going into the draft after my senior year, and I really questioned if I was going to be able to do this.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't have no other, to be honest, I really didn't have no other option. Like yeah, I got my degree, but it wasn't one of those things where like, in this life, you can have a degree all you want, but there's some people out here, unfortunately, that can't get a job even though they have said degree. So I didn't really have no other direction. So it's one of those things where I kind of had to bet on myself and really mold my body and mold my mindset to kind of get ready to take the next step and improve myself when I got to wherever I was at. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those people where, like, whether that's in football or in life, like, if you doubt the person or player that I know I can become, I'm going to go out of my way to prove that I'm going to become that person or player. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm, like I said, if you don't think I can play linebacker in the NFL, prove it to you.
Yeah,
Or if you don't feel like I can be a better person than I was in the past, I'm gonna prove it to you. Now maybe you have to look from a distance, but that's just what it's gonna have to
yeah,
be.
yeah.
So, like, going through my senior year, going from there to my rookie year in the league, um, glory to God that I was able to, stick it with a team and kind of propel myself. But my mind was going through a flux every day. Like, man, like I can't gain no weight, man. I can't get off a block. Like, man, I don't even know if it's a run or pass right now, but like really like saying like, okay, like let me hone in, let me lock in, and let me study, let me put my best foot forward, and let me set a process, and let me develop a routine because I'm very routine based. Let me develop a routine so I could, do my routine each and every single day, and maybe at the end of the day, like it puts me in a better position than what I am right now, and just doing that over and over and over again put me into now I make the team my second year. And then after my second year, I didn't like the way I played. I didn't. I thought I played like it was my first year, like, but still, like it was in the standard that I set for myself as a player. So I was just like, all right, cool. So now this offseason, I'm about to really lock in again. I'm about to really, push the envelope a little bit and push it to that limit to the point to where now it's like time I step on this field, like I'm gonna be ready and I'm gonna be better than what I once was. And then the next dip would be this past year. Like I'm going through a dip right now.
Yeah.
I got, you know what I'm saying? Like I got hurt. I was hurt. I had a great game in the Super Bowl, and I'm thinking like, okay, that's going to propel me to be even better this year going forward. I get hurt the first day of training camp, and now I'm dealing with that
Crazy.
injury. I'm dealing with that injury. Like I'm telling you, like I had a great summer, a great off season. I get hurt the first day of training camp
Yeah.
during a walkthrough. A walkthrough,
That's
dog. So I'm sitting there like the, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm over
yeah,
there
yeah,
saying every single cuss word that can come to my mind is
100%.
coming to my mind at that point. But like I go through that whole year dealing with my ankles, and then now I went from my ankles to my calf. And I'm just like, and then my ankles, and then my knee. I got my knee ran into. So I'm just like, yo, like what is going on? And that led for me to be complacent in other areas, and let me not. It led to me not going into my own head and not like doing the process that I set myself out to do, which led to more and more injuries. So now I'm in this space where, all right, now I'm in a whole new environment. How do I be the player and the person that I know I can be. So it just goes back to like, all right, now I got to get back to the basics. I got to put it on my own shoulders because at the end of the day, and I'm all for mental health, and I'm really passionate about that. And if there's somebody you could talk to, I really think you should do it. But at the end of the day, it's on you to push that envelope forward. Nobody else is going to save you. It's not. It's just the reality of the situation. So like now the mindset I have is, you know, I'm I want somebody to continue to portray that message to me. So I want to be able to talk to a mental coach and whomever that may be, and I want to be able to continue to feed into my brain like, yeah, like it's on you, like go get it. Like now there's some techniques and stuff that I can do to push an envelope forward. That's why I feel like, having a mental coach is very important. But like you can't like don't you c- it's hard because like you have to be able to to differentiate like the emotional side of it and the reality side of it. Like it's
Yeah, the
just,
responsibility, right? I
yeah,
mean,
like you gotta put it on your shoulders. Like it's this is what you wanted. Now do it. Like do it for yourself. And even if you do all the things that you set out to do and it doesn't work out, at least you put yourself in the best position to be successful. And if you can hang your hat on that, and I'm a Christian man, like I like to say, just let go and let God, and I promise you, like it's all gonna work out how you want it to.
yeah, man. I think that whole journey so from, even for you from the 49ers to the Giants, I think people probably underappreciate. I think so. I can speak as someone who's just kind of on the outside of the professional sphere, like your, what could become a crisis for you, what is an extremely significant life event, is a
Hmm.
headline for 99.9% of the world on
Hmm.
ESPN.
Right.
or on, the Giants.com, like, oh, we
Yeah.
signed, or 49ers cut. That it's just like, it's just a headline.
Yeah.
And it's really, really easy, too easy for people just to kind of look past the human side of what that. And I don't think that it has to be any different. I don't think every time an NFL fan reads a headline about a player switching teams, they should be like, well, what about the family? I wonder what they're going to do for a house. It's like, it's not that. But I do think that there's a big misunderstanding about what that can do in terms of not only professional, but personal identity, and the
Hmm.
things that come with, I don't know, just again, this single minded effort to, like, this is going to be my life, this is my dream. I think there's a cost to that kind of single
Hmm.
mindedness that you experience and have to confront when you
Hmm.
do hit those difficult moments. I'm curious, with all the work that you've done, and the things that you've been through and the things that you think about, if there's something that you wanted people to understand about what it does for your identity or to your identity, how do you rebuild without losing those pieces of who you are and who you've brought along on your journey?
It's just it's just one of those things where you have to kind of set of principles for yourself, whatever that may be, and you just got to continue, through all the different things that may be going on. You got to kind of like hang your hat on those set principles. Now, me saying this through the podcast, through this interview, like, trust me, like, there's some times that
Of
I
course.
didn't, I didn't, what I'm saying, hang my hat on those set principles. But I can tell you, not laying on those set principles, you know, hurt me, if that makes sense. So if you just hang your hat on those set principles that you set that you set for yourself, and those things can change. Never be ignorant to growth. But if you hang your hat on those set principles, then you'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I think it's kind of like, it's like a, yeah, not to, I don't want to use like a dumb metaphor, but it's a little bit like a lighthouse, in the sense that, like, the point is not that you're on a very straight line
Hmm.
toward that guide. You're going to
Hmm.
drift. It's very perilous. You're going to get kind of pulled left and right. But at some point, if you decide, I'm not going to let this shipwreck me, then your
Yeah.
eyes your eyes at least have something to find.
Hmm.
You give yourself something to get back to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, yeah, I don't know if everyone kind of takes time to delineate that and decide, like, these are the things that anchor me when things get tough. This is
Yeah.
who I am, or at least this is who I'm going to be.
Correct.
It's tough, man. I think navigating dips without that, very, very, very difficult.
Absolutely.
Um, Curious about digging into your work. So you've worked with a mental performance coach for several years.
Hmm.
What has actually helped? What actually sticks? Like, not just jargon, or not just theories, or whatever, but in your day to day, what do you think actually you've taken away in the long term from that work?
Man, so obviously, I work with Trey for a long time, and
Legend.
legend, legend, legend in the game. And then, for him, I have a lot of doubt in my mind. There's a lot of doubt that goes on, and we spend years trying to navigate through that. And so it's like, okay, how do we trick your brain into like releasing that doubt and moving on forward? So there's a trick he taught me, and then if you know me, if you've been around me a lot, I do this a lot.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like we thought of this, while I was I think about 2 or 3 years ago, where I'm just like, we call it, excuse my language, we call it wiping shit off and turning shit on.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we wiping off the bad thoughts and now we turn on the good thoughts. And that's just something that, helps my brain to be like, all right, I had that bad thought and I'm gonna wipe it off and I'm gonna turn good thoughts on and I'm gonna move forward. So that's something that kind of stuck with me to this day.
Why do you think that works? Because I think some people would look at, like, a kind of a physical cue like that and be like,
Yeah.
I think I could just talk myself out of that.
Yeah, like, and like I said, I'm not no guru. I don't know, I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know much about, the brain and how that works, but I know I know that when you like, it's like words of affirmation when you talk to yourself, like, it's an amazing thing what you do when you can talk yourself out of certain situations and kind of move your mind forward. I just know, like, for me, like, that's something that's worked for me, and kind of like tricked my brain and be like, yeah, okay. Oh man, I missed a tackle. All right, come on, next play. Like it's just something that kind of just works for my brain and gets me on a makes it pushes the way forward for me. So,
I think people underestimate the brain's like power of attention and
hmm
how good of a filter it is.
hmm
Naturally, there's just so much stuff in our environment that we don't pay attention to unless we need to. Like
hmm
you've been sitting on that same chair this whole talk, but you haven't
hmm
noticed how it feels against your back
hmm
until right now when I bring
Yeah,
it up.
exactly. Now you know
And now you
exactly.
can. It's like the
Yeah,
brain activates, and now it's
yeah.
at your attention. And in 3 minutes, you're not going to be noticing it anymore. I
hmm
think that's so much of what those kind of anchor cues do for us too. Is like consciously you're aware that it would be better for your performance if you could just move on from that missed tackle.
hmm
So what can I do just to bring my brain's attention to that? It's just a
hmm
little cue that works for you, something else works for someone else, but I don't think that we use the brain's attention to our advantage often enough in performance.
Right.
Um, Maybe strictly because we underestimate it. And that's something else I'm curious about from your perspective. I think some leagues, some professional leagues in the country, Major League Baseball, the NWSL are two that I'm familiar with who are doing a pretty good job of getting mental performance coaching in front of their athletes. What's
Yes.
the scene like in the NFL, man? Do you know, are there a lot of players working with a coach on their own? Is there anything structural and organizational for mental performance in the NFL?
Not that I know of. Um, and the thing about, there are some people that come into this game and they already like confidence is out the roof, so they kind of already have their set, you know what I'm saying, like their set deals. And then there's the
Yeah,
other half when there's people like me who kind of need a little bit of guidance. So like I would, there's some people that seek it out. I mean, I haven't asked around or anything, and I
for
know
sure.
we have sports psychiatrists and stuff, and not like psychiatrists and stuff like that to kind of talk about, other things that, could
Yeah, that heavier kind of clinical side of
heavier,
stuff.
yeah, heavy is a clinical side of those type of conversations. But I'm just as curious as you to kind of see who, how many people, use stuff like this to kind of propel them forward because I think it works. I'm a walking proof that, what I'm saying, it works. So, I'm curious like you. I'm not really sure, who else does that.
Yeah, I think I wonder something else on that topic. And obviously I'm biased because this is my domain. This is what I do.
Yeah,
But like,
definitely.
what would have changed for you in high school, early in your college career, if you had been given some of these skills, if you had had someone more accessible for you on the mental performance side?
I'll be way further than what I am now. I humbly believe that. I would be in a way better mental space. I'm not to say sitting here and I act like I can rewrite the future, but I think I would be way better in all aspects of my life. Definitely. Without question, without hiccup. Because like I said, I mean, it is on you before, but if you can get somebody that can be in your corner and kind of propel you forward, it's like when you're boxing, your coach is like, yeah, it's on you to kind of get the job done in the ring, but like your boxing coach is in the corner, kind of telling you, getting your mind right throughout the whole match, right? So it's like I feel like I would be way further in all aspects of my life if I would have had a middle coach in high school, not even high school, in Pop Warner. Like,
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? It
no.
would it would have pushed the envelope way faster, but
Yeah,
all
yeah.
things
If
happen for a
someone comes
reason.
in and tells young Demetrius, like, "Hey, man, you're crying because you care. It's a good thing." Like,
Exactly,
I capture that
exactly,
competitiveness. Like,
exactly,
already
exactly.
it's changing how you think about competing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's even a bigger conversation because I think, yeah, hopefully guys in the NFL have access and they probably have the resources to find someone if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But the high school freshman who's really talented and doesn't have a mentor and could make it but isn't going to because he doesn't realize that grades are important and he doesn't know how to build a routine.
Yeah.
Like that kid probably needs someone. and
Yeah. No, definitely.
those kids
Definitely.
are all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
man, yeah, yeah, I think that's interesting. Kind of getting guys to buy into is part of that story. But
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
man, so a few years in your NFL career, not everyone gets 6, 7, 8 years in the league. I mean, most people don't get one, but
Yeah.
You're strolling around basically as a grizzled old vet now, huh?
Exactly. They like to call me they like to call me OG now, and I'm looking at these
Yeah.
kids like, man, I don't know
That's
I
crazy.
don't know who you talking to, but I can't. It ain't me. I ain't no OG.
That's tough. You feel like you're still like you got something to prove still. You're still trying to prove anything to yourself, trying to prove anything to anyone else.
Yeah, definitely. It's something more to myself because I know what kind of player I can be, know what kind of person I can be. So it's one of those things where it's an ongoing build. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm 28, I'm about to reach 30. It's like, yeah, I want to prove myself on the field, and I really do believe that I can and I will. Just it's all dependent on how I go about my business. But now I'm looking at things like, okay, how can I be better as an individual, as a person? Like people don't like to talk about stuff like that, but like there is a life outside of your said sport, and you can't be. Yeah, you got to put everything you can in this said area. But all right, like how? Because I'm not playing football until I'm 37. Like I can't,
Yeah,
I can't. And so
unless
now
you're
it's
going to
like,
become a punter, you could
right,
transition.
exactly. So like, how do I prepare myself to be not just a better football player like I want to be, and I'm going to make sure I do everything I can about that. But how do I make myself a better person? So now I'm kind of going through that terms of when I'm in that football environment, let me push the envelope there. And when I need to study for that football environment, do everything I can for that football environment. How can I push the envelope there to make myself the best player that I can be? But how can I be better off the field in terms of like if I'm dealing with family or other situations? How can I push the envelope and be the best person I can be there? Because like I said, like I'm not dumb. Like I probably, if the good Lord see it fit, I got 5 more years, maybe,
Man,
if that. But then there's a whole lot of life to live after that. So how can I push the envelope in all areas of my life to kind of make myself, be the best version of myself?
how do you feel like you're balancing things right now? How do you feel? Where are you finding your rest? That
Oh
kind of
man, I'm way better than what I used to because I used to
yeah.
be, I, I used to be stressing out every day about just, how would this look here, how would this look? And now I'm just shrugging my shoulders and be like, you know what, like it is what it is. I know what I did already. I'm kind of resting on the work I put in. Now it's like today's my off day. It's time to relax.
Well, one, thanks for spending your off day talking with me.
Hmm.
Uh, but that's great, man. So one more thing, I think 5, 6, 7 years. I don't want to cut it short. 5, 6, 7 years left in the league for you.
Hmm.
All is said and done. You know, I like to think about legacy, and legacy is not the end of the story, but it's at what point is the story being told. And for that chapter of your life, what do you want people to say? How you carried yourself, and kind of what you leave behind.
Well, I want people to think that through all of this, all of my everything, that I was a light, if that makes sense. Like I was, through all the ups and downs, like I mean, regardless of any personal battles that I was dealing with, I never like let somebody else within, like obviously there's some things that go on off the field, but in terms of like just me being around my fellas and whatnot, I wanted like, okay, like end of the day, like this man went out of his way to help me, do what I need to do, whether that was in the facility or outside the facility. Like this dude, even when he was at his lowest, he went out of his way to help make sure I was straight. So that's kind of what I do all the time. Like I love to help people, and when I can't help somebody, it pains my heart. That's why I wish I had all the money in the world so I could be like, yes, I can help you. Yes, here. Like wouldn't hurt at all. Or if I had all the time in the world, like, hey, yeah, I can be right there. Don't even worry about it. I can teleport. You know what I'm saying? But with the time and the with the time and the resources I had, I want people to understand that I did all that I can. I hope they understand that.
It's essentially the parable of the talents, right? It's like, what did
Hmm.
you do with what was given to you?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think that there are a lot of good athletes in the world, which is good. It's good for all of us that enjoy
Hmm.
watching. I think what continues to be needed and what is encouraging to hear is that there's good people. And I think
Hmm.
when you can capture both those things, at least in our industry of sport performance, that's a pretty good outcome.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good outcome. Couple quick hitters before we wrap up. I've asked you the question personally before, but what is your kind of your take on the best environment to play in on game day in the NFL?
Man, I'm hoping. Well, I've only played in, so I don't want no New York fans to get mad at me. I
No, it's
only
good.
played in.
Yeah. That's pending, of course. Besides your
Yeah,
home venue,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Besides your home venue,
I think I was in Levi Stadium for 6 years, and there's nothing like it when you're when you're winning and you're blowing teams out, and it's an amazing environment. Um, I'm gonna say this again. I only played in MetLife when it was COVID, so we didn't have no fans there. So I'm
that will
expecting.
dampen it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would expect the same here now that I'm in New York. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we have to do our part, but I would expect the same here. But other than Levi Stadium, I have to say when we went to Mexico and played at the I don't know what is the dang stadium called? The biggest stadium out there, like the Azteca or something like that.
Yeah. The Azteca,
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
altitude and everything. You played there?
Man, yes, it was crazy. It was a home game for us. We were white, but it was a home game. We played the Cardinals, and it was crazy. The
I can't
atmosphere
believe it. I didn't
was
know you
it
played
was
there.
so loud. The stadium was full. Whew, man. Probably by far the best. And obviously we won, so it was by
That
far the
helped.
best. Yeah,
Yeah.
by far the best atmosphere I played in for sure.
That's unreal, man. There's been some great on the soccer side of things, some great USA versus Mexico matchups in that stadium. Not
Man,
on
that stadium.
for our side of things, but
That stadium is huge too. Like
man,
it's
that's
like
yeah,
it's a
that's a
beautiful.
Warrior Dome right there.
Yeah,
That's sick.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
if you could have gone pro in any other sport, what would it be?
I would hope it would be, and I'm saying this, I'm speaking as is like I am an all-star, like I am the best
Yeah,
thing to
yeah, yeah,
walk
yeah,
this
yeah,
earth.
yeah.
I would I hope it would be baseball. Yes, absolutely.
Whoa.
Yes, baseball. I wish I was the best thing to walk this earth in baseball. That was like obviously growing up I hated the game, but now that I'm older, I appreciate it. Like I really love it. Like I watch it like I'm just like like I'm about to force my kids to play this sport. Like I just like the
Do you
aspect of
really?
it. Yeah, just something about it. Like I'm a very and on top of that, like I'm a very fashion forward type of person. So I just think like,
Mm,
man, like you could really do something there in terms of like, it's just I have a lot to say about it. So baseball.
yeah, that's great. Yeah, and then if you're great, you can get one of those like 24-year, $500 million contracts.
What dudes are getting paid
That's crazy.
for stuff that they did back in
Yeah.
1991. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about generational wealth, and I'm only giving you 8 years. I'm giving you 8 years.
Eight good
I'm
years.
not, yeah, I'm not chasing nothing after that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, I'm not chasing nothing. I'm gonna give you 8 solid years, maybe 10 if we're winning, and then I'm walking off. Like, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Like, I got kids.
Absolutely. Why drag it out?
Yeah, I got kids now. Like, I gotta go.
Do you want to give us anything on fashion? Do you have like
I
a
haven't. I'm not, and like I said, I'm not a guru there. I like nice clothes. I can't give you the reasoning behind it. I don't know what. I think it's my mom's fault. We're gonna
okay?
blame her. Yeah, mom, I
Yeah.
blame you.
Was she dressing
Um,
you up? Is that or does she likes nice clothes?
she just, as a young kid, she always put me in the nice little kids clothes. That's just what she like. She always make sure I had the nice
You were
little new,
dressed up.
my little. Even when I was like wearing the one wide, I have nice little Nike shoes, and that's something that just I don't
Mhm.
know. A lot of people things stick in their brain. That's something that stuck in my brain. So now I just have a plethora of things that I probably should give some stuff away, but I just have a plethora of things that I like to wear, and I go from there.
So I have a 7-year-old son and I'm trying to get him to understand a little bit. I don't dress great or anything, but
Hmm.
but I'm trying to get him to understand the value of like how you present yourself. And I think
Absolutely,
that's like a really abstract concept
absolutely.
for a first grader, obviously, but he'll happily go to school in like some gigantic sweatpants and he's got this Christmas sweater that his grandma got him that he still likes to, and I'm like, dude, it's
You gotta
May.
switch it up.
Like,
Yeah,
we gotta
yeah,
put it away. We have to.
yeah.
We have
No,
to.
I'm
So
with you.
we went to Nordstrom and did, tried to get him into some stuff,
Did
but
some digging.
I'm gonna start making him wear it. I think I'm just gonna
Yeah,
be like,
just
just
start
trust.
put it out there for him, and he'll be like,
Yeah.
"All right, bet." And like
You'll like
he'll
how
take
you
it from
feel,
there.
man. You'll like
Yes,
it's
yes,
not about the stuff. Like it's
yeah.
not I don't want him to like be materialistic, but
But
I
it's
do
just how
think
you
that
present
there's
yourself.
something
Yeah,
to, yeah, it's like how you feel
hmm
about yourself and what you're bringing to the world.
yeah. And being
Um,
fashion forward, it's not. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like you're getting something that's extremely expensive all the time. You're
no,
just getting something
no,
that kind of fits with who your identity is.
exactly. The
So it's like,
presentation matters.
yeah.
As I sit here in a black t-shirt and a
And
baseball
me and you both.
hat. Hey, we'll have to get you the ACG brand so
Yeah,
that
no, I need it. I need
you get
it. I
some real
need it.
stuff.
I need
Uh,
it.
that's great, man. Anything, social media, anything that you can plug? Giants games coming up this season, obviously, for anyone listening, but anything that you want to share with the listeners before we close it out?
Hey, man, don't don't underestimate the idea of having a mental performance coach because you have no idea the magnitude and the impact that it can have on your life. It's the biggest blessing that I figured out too late, and I would not want that to be you.
I missed that boat too, man, and I do wonder. It's so for us to be in the position to be able to offer it and provide that support is I'm it's great to hear a story about you doing your dream job. I think I'm doing mine
Mm-hmm,
too. So
mm-hmm.
so that's great. Flan, thank you so much for talking today, man. Really appreciate it. And for everyone listening, thank you. Thank you for joining us on the ACG Mental Performance Podcast. If today's conversation with Flan resonated, please remember to subscribe, rate, share this episode with someone who might benefit from it. Maybe you have an up-and-coming NFL superstar in your home that wants to listen to this. But mostly remember this, your mindset matters, so keep training it. Until next time, I'm DJ McMoil. Take care.